are joining us for the first time, please kindly click on the subscribe button, like, comment, and share this video. Okay, today we want to see binomial theorem. Okay, binomial theorem is a part of the probability distribution. We saw the normal distribution in the previous video. If you have not seen that video, I recommend you watch that also. Okay, now what is binomial theorem? The binomial theorem is a part of a probability distribution that has two possible outcomes. Either a success or a failure, a good or a bad. Okay, it means that in a probability distribution as this, whenever a trial is made or whenever an experiment is being conducted, we have two possible outcomes that may arise. That is a sample space. Okay, it is either it is a success or a failure. For instance, as a student, if you are writing an examination, two possible outcomes might arise from the result of the examination. It's either you pass or you fail. Okay. Also, in the toss of a coin, when you toss a coin, for instance, there are two possible outcomes that may arise. It is either you have a head or a tail. Okay. So in that situation, whenever an experiment is conducted and there are two likely possible outcomes, we call that a binomial theorem. Okay, so the binomial theorem has its formula given as probability of x equal x is equal to n combination x times probability of x times q n minus x. I'll define what all these things means. Now said where our n combination x. Now if you have not seen combination, I recommend you watch the combination video to know how to solve combination. Equal n factorial over n minus x factorial times x factorial. Now this is combination. Okay, where our P is probability success, then our Q is equal to probability of a failure. Okay, and the Q most times is not given. When you know your P, you can get your Q. So the Q is given as 1 minus P. Okay, then our N is the number of trials. The number of trials. Okay, and our X is the success in N trials. The success in N trials. While our probability of X here is given as a probability of random variable. Now a variable is what? A value that can get a random variable is that variable that can take a random value. Okay, so this is what is required. Now the probability of a success, then the Q is the probability of a failure. Okay, now most times you'll be given P. Now to get Q is 1 minus P. Okay, because probability of a success plus failure equals 1. All probabilities sum up to 1. Okay, so our N is the number of trials. For instance, they will tell you how many trials has been done. Okay, YX is what? The success in N trials. And PX is the probability of what? Random variable. Okay, so whenever you're asked to solve a probability question, this is the standard formula. N combination X, Px, Q, N minus X. Now, N combination X, as a combination is given as this N factorial over N minus X factorial times X factorial. Okay? Now, to get factorial, I also have a video on that, but let me just show briefly. The factorial is reducing the value you have by 1 until you get to unity. For instance, if I have 5 factorial, 5 factorial means reducing this value until it gets to 1. That is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. write them and get your answer. The next one, if I have 8 factorial, it is 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 until it gets to 1. If I have 3 factorial, it is 3 times 2 times 1. So that is all by factorial. Okay? So to get the n combination x, if you want to use the formula method, it is n factorial over n minus x factorial times x factorial. So with this, you can get this. But in case of those that are writing advanced examination, you can get it with your calculator, the n combination x direct. Then you solve all this. Okay? So that is how to solve using what? The binomial. So whenever you're given a question, for instance, if they ask you, they said in 2 trials, that is the n. Okay? The 2 trials, the probability of the success, now that is p. Then to get q is 1 minus p. Okay? Then our x in n trials and this. Now, the last thing I want you to know is the mean. The mean of a binomial theorem is given as mu, which is np. The mean is np. N stands for the number of trials and p is what? Probability. Okay? That is the mean. While the variance is npq. Now, npq, where n stands as our number of trials, p is our probability, and q is our what? Probability of what? Failure. Okay, that is variance. Why the standard deviation is the square root of the variance, that is square root of npq. So this is our mean. Whenever they say find the mean of the binomial theorem, the mean is just the multiplication of n and the what? Probability. Why the variance is npq. Why the standard deviation is square root of the variance. Okay, so we're going to see a question now to solve this. Okay, let's see this question. It said the probability of a man hitting the target at a shooting range is 1/4. That is the probability of the man hitting the target. And it said if he shoots 10 times, what is the probability that he hits the target? I exactly 3 times. I at least once. I. Find the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation. This question is very simple. So what do we do? Now from here now, we recall our formula. Right, solution. Now recall our formula. The formula is our probability of x equal x, that's a random variable, equal to n combination x times px times qn minus what? X. I'll say where our n is now equal to n. We said when we were defining it, we said n is the number of trials. So our n 10 times. That means he's shooting 10 times. 10 times is the number of trials. So our n here is what? 10. So our p, the probability of success. We said the probability of the man hitting the target at the shooting range is 1/4. So the probability that he hits the range, that is success, is 1/4. So we have 1/4. So I can put it, getting a decimal fraction as 0.25. Okay. Then my q will now be, I said it is 1 minus the success. Okay. 1 minus 1.4 can also give me 0.75 in decimal. Okay. So that is my q. Okay. So the next thing is to answer the question. They said 1 exactly 3 times. That means they say find the probability that he will hit the target exactly 3 times. So if I'm solving for the first one, exactly 3 times, it means that my x is equal to what? 3. They said exactly 3 times. And remember, we said x is what? Probability of what? X is the success in n trials. That means they said if he shoots 10 times, what is the probability that he hits the target exactly 3 times? So our x is what? 3. So we'll substitute into this to get the probability. So we now have probability of x equal 3 equal, our n is 10. So I 10 combination, our x is 3 times our p, probability is 0.25 times our x is what? 3 times our q is 0.75 times our n is 10 minus 3. So from this now, I can have 10 combination 3. If I don't want to do it through the normal formulas method, getting the formula, I can use my calculator to get it fast. So using my calculator to get it fast, I can have 10 combination 3 will give me 120. 120 times 0.25 raised to the power of 3. Using your calculator also, you have that as 0.01565. 0.01565 times, now watch this, 0.75, 10 minus 3 will give us 0.75 raised to the power 7. Okay, so we'll solve that also. 120 times this will give us 1.875 times, now you get 0.75 raised to the power of 7 will give us 0.13348 equal, now 1.875 times this will have 0.250275. Now we can approximate to 0.25. So the probability of the man hitting this target exactly 3 times will give us 0.25. Okay, so that's the first one. Now the second one, solving this, they said we should find the probability that the man will hit the target at least once. At least once. It means that if he shoots 10 times, he must hit once. Okay, so solving this II, now we'll say probability of x greater than equal to 1. That is what it means. Now this other one is a range of value, but the first one is not. They said exactly 3. Okay, so if they said at least once, it means that if the man shoots 10 times, he's going to get the target once. It means that we are going to solve when x is 1, 2, 3, 4, up till 10. Because 10 is the number of trials. Okay? Because in binomial, our x value stops where the number of trials stop. Okay? Whenever you get question relating to that. Now, for exam purpose, we can't start solving from 1 till 10. It is time consuming. It will consume time. So what do? We twist it around. Okay? So if they said x is greater than equal to 1, it means that I can have 1 minus probability of x less than 1. Yes. Since they say greater than equal to, it means it is starting from 1 and above up to n. So I can twist it around and subtract it from 1, which is what? This one is the probability standard formula. Remember I said probability of the success plus failure equals 1. So this is 1 minus probability of x less than 1 instead of greater than equal to. So what is less than 1? When is 0. So you will just calculate for when x is 0 and subtract that value from 1. So this is 1 minus probability of x equals 0 when x plus 0. So we'll solve when x equals 0. So we substitute probability of x equals 0. Then n is 10 combination 0. Our p is times 0.25 raised to power 0 times our q is 0.75 raised to power 10 minus 0. Now 10 combination 0, anything 10 combination 0 will give us 1. Use your calculator times 0.25 raised to power 0. Anything to the power of 0 is 1 times 0.75 raised to power 0, raised to power 10 minus 0 will give us 10 raised to power 10. So we have 1 times 1 times 0.75 raised to power 10. If I use my calculator, I will have 0.5 0.05631. Okay, 0.05631. Okay, now from there now, we are not done. So if I say 1 minus probability of x less than 1 is now 1 minus probability of x less than 1, which is 0, which is this one we have calculated, is now 0.05631. So 1 minus 0.05631 will now give me, using my calculator, as 0.94369. That is the answer, approximately 0.94. So this is the answer when x is what? Greater than equal to 1. Okay? Now we'll solve for the other. They said find the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation. Now finding the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation. Now with this, now remember we said I. Mean is NP. The N is the number of trials, RP is the probability. So our number of trials here is 10 times RP, the probability is 0.25. So 10 times 0.25 will give us what? 2.5. Okay? While the variance is NPQ. NPQ. Now what is NPQ? It means 10 times 0.25 times our Q will give us 0.75. Okay, which is that? So 10 times this 0.25 times 0.75 will give us 1.875. Okay? So now our standard deviation, which is square root of the variance, will now give us square root of 1.875, which will give us 1.369, approximately 1.37. So that is how to solve binomial theorem. Okay? Please, if this is your first time, kindly click on the subscribe button, like, comment, and share. If you have any questions relating to this or other things, please don't hesitate to chat me up, test, and all that. Okay? Thank you very much for watching.